is that we just want to refresh our memories as to some of these things covered before Ramadan. Okay, so we go back to page 56. Right. صفحة 56 رقم واحد. Here we have to fill in the spaces with the suitable form of the um, verb, right? The past tense form of the verb, ذهب. Okay, so we have some sentences with spaces in them, and we have to fit that verb into the, um, or rather, put in the appropriate conjugation of the verb in each sentence. All right. So this is a practice on our ability to conjugate the verb. Now remember last week we went over the table on page 55. صفحة 55, page 55, and we looked at the conjugation of a verb, the past tense verb, all right, in 10 different forms. We said each verb, past tense verb, can be conjugated into 14 different um, parts depending on um, singular, dual, or plural, first person, second person, third person, or masculine, feminine, right? Here we're just looking at 10 of them. The additional 4 will come when we look at the dual form, right? So in this table, we have al-mufradu and al-jam'u. Al-mufradu, al-jam'u, singular and plural, right? Singular and plural. Then at the side of the table, the rows coming down, we have al-ghaibu, which is third person, right? Literally, it means the absent, right? Then second row coming across, we have al-mukhatab, which is the person who is addressed, right? Or the one spoken to, or in English grammar, we say is the second person. And then lastly, we have al-mutakallim, which is the first person, right? Or in this case, it's the speaker, the person who is speaking, all right? And under each category, we have al-muzakkar and al-mu'annath, masculine and feminine. So, right, so we have examples here as to how we conjugate the verb depending on the context, all right? So when we go to the lesson now, رقم واحد أكمل الجمل الآتية بوضع فعل ذهب في الفراغ, right? So you say basically in the farag, in the spaces, you put in the appropriate conjugation of the verb ذهب. So let's look at the first one. We are on صفحة 56 or page 56. At the top, رقم واحد, and then under that we have رقم واحد, number one, and the first one on the number one sentence is أين الطلاب الجدد. أين الطلاب الجدد. Where are the new students? So the answer will be ذهبوا إلى المدير. They went to the principal. So how do you know is ذهبوا? Because we are dealing with masculine plural, third person. We are speaking about the students. The students are not speaking, so it's not first person. They are not being spoken to, or they are not addressed, so they're not second person. They are being spoken about. So therefore, we know it's third person, and of course, it's plural. To lab is plural of Talib, right? So if it's third person, masculine, plural, then we have to look at this box here, right? Hamidun wa Hashimun wa Aliyun dhahabu. Right? So this is the word we have to put in the space there. All right? So we just fill in that. Number two, nahnu something ila al-mal'abi. Nahnu dhahabna ila al-mal'abi. So in this case, we know nahnu means we. All right? So if it's we, then obviously that will be first person, the person who is speaking. All right, who is making the statement in the sentence is the person who is speaking, we. All right, and it's not singular, it's plural. So we say we. which would be نحن ذهبنا. ذهبنا with a alif at the end. Okay, everybody with me? So نحن ذهبنا. So we have here نحن ذهبنا إلى الملعب. نحن ذهبنا إلى الملعب. Next one. أين something بعد درس يا إخواني. So question is where أين where something بعد درس يا إخواني. Where did you, well, it's one verb we're using right through for this whole exercise. So the verb is ذهب or to go or he went, right? So here we say أين something بعد درس يا إخواني. How do we know which one to use? We look at the end of the sentence and see who is the person being addressed. So he's speaking to somebody now and you're asking them about where they went. You're not asking about a third person, somebody's absent. You're asking them where they went, their action. So therefore we use the second person, right, form of the verb here, right? Is it masculine or feminine? Let's look at the word. Who is being spoken to? Ikhwan. Ikhwan is plural of what? Och or ach? Anybody? Ikhwan is plural of akhun or brother. So plural of akhun is ikhwan, right? So therefore it's masculine, plural. The second person masculine plural, we go back to our table. We have here second person al-mukhatab. Look at the table here in the middle row. Right? So is it masculine or feminine? Is masculine al-mudhakkar, masculine. Is it singular or plural? We're not dealing with dual here. It's either singular or plural. It's not singular because we are talking about the plural of akhwan. The plural of akhwan is ikhwan. So we're dealing with plural. So therefore we look at this one here, which is antum dhahabtum. Antum dhahabtum. Look at the table and you'll see, right? Antum dhahabtum. So this one here, we see the context so we know which verb to use. So we will say aina dhahabtum ba'da darsi ya ikhwani. Right? So all you have to put in the spaces is the correct form of the verb. Right? Anybody have any problems with this? Anybody have problems with this? I want to move on to the next exercise now. All right, so no issues there, right? So we just have one verb and we adjust it to the suitable situation in each sentence, right? Please, please, please attempt these exercises, right? Attempt them, try to fill out the spaces. You all have the books. If you don't have the books, you have the PDF copy. You can just write it down and you want to send it to me. It's not a problem at all, right? Next exercise, رقم 2. Number 2, أكمل الجمل الآتية بوضع فعل ماض مناسب في كل من الأماكن. Right, so same thing, fill out the sentences with a suitable verb. So this one didn't give you the verb. You have to come up with a verb that is suitable for each sentence. All right. So it's the same exercise, except now you're not giving any verb. You have to look at the situation, look at the sentence, and come up with the appropriate verb. All right. So let's look at the first one. So we have some verbs in our repertoire. We have some verbs we can use, we can draw upon. First one, رقم 1. Something. الآذان يا محمد. Right. So we know it's a question. Besides the question mark at the end, the sentence begins with a hamza. We know once you have the hamza there, you're asking a question with that. Right? So the question being asked, something, al-adhan ya Muhammad. So somebody's asking Muhammad about what? About what? The adhan. So what is a normal question somebody will ask about the adhan? They hear the adhan, maybe something else, is you hear the adhan? Did you call the adhan? If you send Muhammad to call the adhan, you ask him, did he call it? Right? And so on, right? If it's somebody recording, you might ask him, did you record the adhan, Ya Muhammad? Right? But generally speaking, we would use the word or the verb to hear, which is sami'a, sami'a, right? Good. So if you have the verb sami'a, go back to our table. Who is being spoken to? It's Muhammad. So Muhammad is masculine singular. Naam, masculine singular. So therefore you use the masculine singular form of the verb. All of these so far we are using is past tense. So don't worry about present tense or command form. We're dealing with past tense. Alright? So here we have straightforward, we use the verb sami'a. So we will say right, so it's second person, right? So it's masculine singular second person because we are speaking directly to Muhammad, right? So you would say as-sami'ta, sami'ta al-adhana ya Muhammad. Okay, so go back to our table here. We have second person al-mukhatab. Is it al-muzakkar or al-mu'annath? Is al-muzakkar, masculine, right? Singular or plural, it is singular. So it's anta dhahabta. In this case, it's not dhahabta, it is sami'ta. Notice, please pay attention to this. Notice when we add on the pronouns at the end, the additional things, whether it's ta, tum, right, na, tu, and so on. In each case, the last letter in the original verb takes a sukun. You all notice that, right? The habta, that ba has a sukun. The habti, that ba has a sukun. The habna, the ba has a sukun. The habtu, again here, the ba has a sukun. Alright? So in all, once we add on these pronouns, the ba has the sukun. Alright? So here now we have the habta, sorry, sami'ta al-adhana ya Muhammadu. Next one, we have nahnu something kurata sallata al-yawm. Right? So kurata salla is what? Basketball or football? Which one? Anybody? You have kurata al-qadam and kurata salla. Which one is football? Which is basketball? Kurata salla is basketball, right? So Kurat al-Qadam is football because we have the word Qadam is foot, right? Qadam is foot. So Kurat al-Qadam is football, right? So we have the sentence Nahnu something Kurata Sallata al-Yawma, right? We did something Kurata Salla al-Yawma. So naturally we will use the verb. Which verb we could put in here? Anybody?
نحن لعبنا كرة السلة كرة السلة
Sallatu. Sallatu.
سلة
So
اليوم
now, so the verb we're
لعبنا
using is la'ibna. Okay, la'ibna with the alif at the end, right? To distinguish it from la'ibna. So la'ibna is feminine plural. La'ibna with the alif is we play, right? So the verb is la'iba, lam, ain, ba, la'iba, right? Let me see if I can write it in here. La, ba. So this is the root verb, lam, ain, ba, la'iba, la'iba, right? So as we did with the others, if you add on anything at the end, the ba will take a sukoon and then we attach the pronoun at the end. So if we go in with la'ib, la'ibna, we then just take off the get la'ib, sukoon on the ba, and then na. Okay, everybody with me? La'ib, na. We played. So this is the verb to play. La'iba. نحن لعبنا كرة السلة اليوم. Next one, we have here something. قمصاني ومناديلي يا أمي. Remember from the last lesson from chapter 7 or 6, I think it was, right? Something. قمصاني ومناديلي يا أمي. So, first of all, who is being spoken to? Anybody? The mother. And so if you say Ummi, it's my mother. So the child is speaking to the mother, right? Remember from the lesson, you have the verbs that dealing with. All right, so the person spoken to is the mother. So we know we're dealing with feminine. Is it singular or plural? It's singular. So feminine singular. First person, second person, or third person, the child is speaking directly to the mother. So therefore it will be second person. Right? So we already know the verb we're using is second person, feminine, singular. Right? Everybody clear? Good. Second person, feminine, singular. So go back to our table. We know second person, al-mukhatab, is not al-mudhakkar, but it is al-mu'annath, feminine. Is it singular or plural? Mufrad or al-jam? It is al-mufrad, singular. Right? So we use this one here, anti dhahabti, anti dhahabti. So this is the format we're going to use. All right. Of course, we don't put in the pronoun anti because it's already in a sentence there. We're speaking to the mother. Okay. So you don't have to use back the pronoun here. You're just looking at the verb itself. Dhahaba, in this case, dhahabti. In the case of this sentence, we have to come up with a verb to apply that pattern to. Right. So the this one, where are we? So let's look at what is being asked here. So the question again, we have a question mark at the end, so we know it's a question. We have the hamza at the beginning, we know it's a question. All right. So the words that are occurring in the sentence is kumsani and manadili. So kumsan is the plural of qamis. Qamis is shirt. Okay. The plural is kumsan. Why is there a ya at the end? Because it's my, it's a pronoun my, right? So it's my shirts. So it's kumsani, my shirts. Manadi li, and my handkerchiefs. Right? So manadi is plural of mindil. Mindil, manadil. So you can just jot it in there. Mindil with a ya before the lam. Mindil, da. Dal, ya, and lam. Mindil. Plural is manadil. Right? Similarly, qamis, plural is qumsan. Good. So it's shirt and handkerchiefs. So the child is asking the mother about shirts and handkerchiefs. She did something to them, right? It can be vasalti, naam. It could be wash if she washed them. It could be kawai, kawa, which is the iron. So it's kawaiti. Did you iron them? Or it could be she saw them. He looking for it. He or she looking for the things. Did you see these things? Right? Ara'aiti. Did you see my shirts and my handkerchiefs? So it could be, have you seen? Did you wash? Did you iron? Right? So ra'a is to see. So in that case, we will say ara'aiti. Ara'aiti Kumsani wa manadili ya ummi. Or if it's the wash, we say ghasalti kumsani wa manadili ya ummi. You wash. Or if it's the iron, you say akawaiti kumsani wa manadili ya ummi. Right? Any problems with that? So it's just to come up with our own verbs here, suitable verb, and apply the correct conjugation to the verb. All right, is that clear with everyone? Last example, and then we go to the next exercise, right? Rakam arba'a. This is not a question here, right? You see, it ends with no question mark at the end, no question, just a full stop, and the beginning there's no hamza. So it's a statement. Let's look at the statement. Something al-mudarris ad-darsa. You all seen that? Something al-mudarrisu ad-darsa ala saburati. Ala saburati. So the teacher did something with the lesson on the blackboard. What do you think he did on the blackboard? He wrote the lesson on the blackboard. What was he going to write? Anybody? Do this many times. What's the word to write?
Kataba.
Kataba. Now, so in this case, we are talking about the teacher. Okay, the teacher is not speaking here. The teacher is not being spoken to. The teacher is being spoken about. So therefore, this is al-ghaib, which is third person, right? Al-ghaib. So the teacher is al-ghaib, right? And he's the one performing the action, which is the verb, which is kataba, right? So therefore, we have to use the third person, and it's mudarris, so therefore we know it's masculine, and it's singular, so therefore we know we use the third person masculine singular form, right? So al-ghaib is third person, al-mudhakkar is masculine, and al-mufrad is singular. So third person masculine singular will be dhahaba. In that case will be kataba. So we use the verb kataba. kataba al-mudarrisu ad-darsa ala saburati. All right? Good. Any problems there? All right, so we're skipping this. Please, please, please try attempt the others just to fill in the appropriate verb in its proper conjugation and put it in this place, right? Right, so رقم ثلاثة, number 3, it is تأمل ما يلي. Observe what follows. Observe what follows. So you need to pay attention to the following, which is basically the same thing we have on top, right? The conjugation of the verb. So let's look at it again. Dhahaba. So dhahaba is the root verb, 3 letters. Dhahaba, right? So dhahaba is equal to it is the fi'l, right? So let's look at the sentence here. Everybody with me? We're halfway down page 57. Right? Safha sab'a wa khamsu. So we have dhahaba. It is the verb, is the fi'l, right? So we have something called damirun mustatirun. Damirun mustatirun, which means a hidden pronoun. Mustatir means hidden, something hidden or obscured, right? It's right, so damirun mustatirun means the hidden pronoun, right? Remember, mustatir is from the word sitar. Sitar means curtain, right? So curtain again, something hidden. So damir mustatir, and the damir mustatir or hidden pronoun, it is what we may refer to in English as the understood pronoun. Is understood. It is the fa'il in the sentence. Fa'il or the doer of the verb. Right, let's go on again. Dahabu. In the case of dahabu, Dhahaba is the fi'l again, right? And then you have the waw at the end, which is the fa'il, right? Waw al jama'ah, it is the fa'il, is do of the verb, right? Then you have dhahabat. So this is feminine form of the third person singular, dhahabat. So dhahaba is the verb, and the ta with the sukun. In this case, this ta is not considered a pronoun. It's not added on, but rather it is alamatu ta'nith, or the sign of it being feminine. So in this case, the ta with the sukun is the sign of it being a feminine form of the verb, right? And in this case, the damir will be damir mustatir, or the which is the fa'il. Again, the understood pronoun or the hidden pronoun, right? All the others, the attached pronoun is the fa'il or the doer of the verb. It is clear, right? In the case of the habna, the noon fata is the fa'il, is the doer of the verb. The habta, in this case, the ta fata is the fa'il, the doer of the verb, and so on. Right? Again, this is just a quick recap. All right, which we would have done last time, before. All right. Any issues with this? Anybody don't understand this? So it's a basic formula, basic formula. You have a root verb. The root verb, as I said in Arabic, most verbs go back to 3 root letters. So let's remember that we have a building block or a base, right, of 3 root letters, and then onto that now we add on letters depending on the context. All right. So depending on the context, and that word we in this case of the past tense verb, we add on pronouns at the end. Right? Where do we add it? At the end. Right? If it's present tense verbs, then we add at both ends, before and after the root letters. All right? So it's a basic formula. So all you need to remember is the appropriate attachment or appropriate pronoun that goes on at the end of the verb. And if that is the case, you can take any verb once you know the root letters, and you could get from it 14. Once we learn all 14 forms of the verb, we get 14 words from that. So you just learn one word, you know the patterns already, and you get 14 words from that. You get 14 words, 14 forms of the conjugation of the verb. Right? So that way you build a vocabulary. Right? So that's why these patterns are important to remember. Right? Let's go on to رقم 4. عين الفاعل فيما يلي. So here they say identify the fa'il or the do of the verb in what follows. So let's go through this quickly. We have the first one, kharajtu, kharajtu, right? So kharaja means to come out of. So kharajtu, I came out of. Where is the do of the verb there? The verb is kharaja. Where is the fa'il? So the fa'il is kharaja. Where is the fa'il? The to, or the attached pronoun tadama to. Next one, jalasna. Jalasa is the verb, and where is the fa'il? Where is the do of the verb? The na. It is the do of the verb. Right? We'll do the next one. Sami'ti. What's the verb there? Any volunteers? We're looking for the verb and we're looking for the do of the verb. So the fa'il and the fa'il. The fa'il, the verb, has to be 3 letters, and the fa'il in these cases will be the pronoun. Right? So where's the root letters for this verb? Sami'tu, sami'ti. Sami'a, these 3 letters is the root verb, right? So therefore, the attached pronoun ti, ta kasra, will be the fa'il, will be the fa'il, the doer of the verb, right? Next one. Any volunteers? Sharibtunna.
Sharib. Assalamu alaikum. Shariba would be the verb, and the tunna will be the dua, the fa'il.
Zakaria. So shariba is the verb. All right. Shin, ra, ba, shariba. And then the pronoun tunna, the ta and noon with the shadda. This is the attached pronoun, which is the fa'il. Right? So fa'il is shariba, the fa'il is the attached pronoun or the damir muttasil, which is tunna. Right? Now, next one. Dakhalu. Where's the verb there? And where's the do of the verb? Fa'il and fa'il. Now, so dakhala is the fa'il and the waw al-jama'a is the fa'il. So attached pronoun waw is the fa'il. Next volunteer. Hafidna. Hafidna. Where's the fa'il and where's the fa'il? Fa'il and fa'il.
Assalamu alaikum.
Islam.
The fa'il is حفظ and the fa'il is na.
Very good. So hafidha is the fa'il. So ha, fa, and dha, hafidha is the fa'il, and the fa'il is the attached pronoun na. All right? Good. Next one. Akaltum. Akaltum. Anybody want to try this one? Where is the fa'il and where is the fa'il?
Akala is the fa'il and the tum is the fa'il.
Now, so akala, the hamza, kaf, and lam. Akala means to eat. This is the fa'il, and the fa'il is the tum. Now, last one. Fataha. Where's the fa'il and where's the fa'il? Anybody want to try this? The fa'il is fataha. And where's the fa'il? Go on. Where's it? The fa'il is the damir mustatir, right? It's understood. Remember we did that, the first thing in line above? So we have dhahaba. So in this case, the root, you might say, but hold on, that's just the fa'il, that's just the verb alone. Yes, it is the verb alone. That's why the fa'il or the do of the verb is called damir mustatir. It's hidden, you can't see it, right? So it's hidden, this is the understood, right? It's understood, the pronoun is understood, right? How can we do that? Like, for example, you say, Aina tullabul juludu, where are the new students? Right? Or you could say, if we're using singular, we say, Aina talibun jadidun, where is the new student? Right? And someone might answer, Dhahaba. Dhahaba. Right? Ila al-mudiri. He went to the principal. So in this case, it's understood who is being referred to here, right? Because of the context that the word comes, right? However, if you just come up to somebody in the street or so and say, Dhahaba ila al-mudir, you will know who you're talking about. You have no context. Who went to the principal? You don't know. That would be nonsense, right? So you can't use it like that. You use it in a context where it's understood where they're coming from, right? Any questions on that? So in this case, it is the damir mustatir or the hidden pronoun, right? And we know in this case it is masculine, right? If it was fatahat with a ta and a sukun at the end, we know it would be feminine because that is the ta with the sukun would be the sign of it being feminine, right? Alamatu ta'nith, or the feminine sign, right? Good. Any questions on that again? So let's look at, we're skipping number 5, we're looking at number 6, and then we're going to start our passage again, right? تأمل ما يلي رقم 6. So you're at the bottom of page 58, right? صفحة 58. So we're bottom of page 58, رقم 6. تأمل ما يلي. Observe what follows. So this is just what I just said. The ضمير مستتر. But look at the difference here. Please look at this here. أين حامد? Where is Hamid? Where is Hamid? The answer is خرج. There's a sentence there, right? So it's understood who you're referring to. You don't have to expressly state the file in this case, all right? So it's like somebody asks you, in English, where is Hamid? And you say, Hamid left, right? You don't normally say that. You wouldn't say that. You would say, he left, all right? In this case, in Arabic, the he left is included in the verb. You're with me? It's included in the verb. Kharaja means he left. As in kharaja, right? And then if you use it in the feminine context, you say Aina Aminatu. Aina Aminatu kharajat. She left. So kharaja, he left. Kharajat, she left. You with me? Now what does that mean? Look at the brackets here. First of all, kharaja. Kharaja is the fa'il, and the fa'il is the damir mustatir, like we saw before, right? Let's look at the next one. Kharajat. Kharaja is the fa'il, and the ta is not the fa'il. Ta with the sukun in this case is not the fa'il. It is what? Alamatu ta'nith. Alamatu ta'nith, or the sign of the feminine group, right? And in this case as well, the fa'il will be damir mustatir, or the understood pronoun, right? Any questions on this at all? All right. Questions? All right, so we go into the next lesson one time. الدرس التاسع. الدرس التاسع. Lesson number 9. في الصفحة 59 or 59. Page 59. We began reading this last week, so we'll read it again, and then we'll take the next page, inshallah ta'ala. After that, I'll go through it and basically just do some vocabulary today, and then we'll look at sentence structure and some other points and so on next week, inshallah. All right? So today we're just going to read over this page and the next page, all right, and then look at some vocabulary. All right? Any quick questions on the last lesson, the last chapter before we start this? All right, so start with الدرس التاسع. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So follow first of all in your books, and then you repeat after me, all right? So look at the book and listen carefully. I'll read it slowly in pieces, and then we will read it again, and you'll say it after me, all right? So let's follow right now. Bismillah. دخل المدرس الفصل ووجد فيه 15 طالبا فقط. فقال لهم أين الطلاب الجدد الخمسة الذي جاءوا أمس؟ قال عبد الله حضروا اليوم وخرجوا قبل قليل. أظن أنهم ذهبوا إلى المدير. رجع الطلاب الخمسة بعد قليل، فقال لهم المدرس أإلى المدير ذهبتم يا أبنائي؟ قالوا نعم ذهبنا إليه لأننا ما وجدنا أسماءنا في القائمة. في القائمة. جلس المدرس وقال: أقرأتم درس الأمس يا أبنائي؟ قال الطلاب: نعم، قرأناه وكتبناه وحفظناه. قال المدرس: أفهمتموه؟ قالوا: نعم، فهمناه جيدا. ما أسهل هذا الدرس. قال عبد الرحمن: أنا ما فهمت فيه 3 كلمات. قال المدرس: ما هي؟ قال عبد الرحمن قرأنا في الدرس هذه الجملة: عاد جدي من الخرطوم. فما معنى هذه الكلمات الثلاث؟ قال المدرس: عاد معناها رجع، والجد معناها أبو الأب أو أبو الأم، والخرطوم عاصمة السودان. أفهمت؟ قال عبد الرحمن: الآن فهمت. So we go to the next page. صفحة 60. ثم فتح المدرس كتابه وقرأ درسا جديدا. خلق الله الشمس والقمر والنجوم والأرض والبحار وخلق كل شيء وخلق الإنسان من طين. ثم قام وكتب هذا الدرس على السبورة. رفع محمد يده وقال: ما معنى الطين يا أستاذ؟ قال المدرس: الطين معناه التراب المختلط بالماء. ورفع فيصل يده فقال له المدرس: عندك سؤال يا فيصل؟ قال فيصل: نعم، عندي سؤال. البحار جمع البحر. قال المدرس: نعم، هو كذلك. قام الحسن وقال: ما جمع السماء يا أستاذ؟ قال المدرس: جمعها سماوات. ثم سأل المدرس الطلاب عدة أسئلة. ثم سأل المدرس الطلاب عدة أسئلة. المدرس: من خلقك يا إبراهيم؟ إبراهيم: خلقني الله. المدرس: من خلقكم يا أبنائي؟ الجميع خلقنا الله. المدرس: من خلقني يا عباس؟ عباس: خلقك الله. المدرس: من خلق الشمس يا عبد الله عبد الله خلقها الله. All right, so that's the end of page 60. I'm going to read it again, and you all read after me, inshallah ta'ala. Right? So, Bismillah. الدرس التاسع الدرس التاسع دخل المدرس الفصل ووجد فيه 15 ووجد فيه 15 طالبا فقط، فقال لهم: أين الطلاب الجدد ال5 الذين جاءوا أمس؟ قال عبد الله: حضروا اليوم وخرجوا قبل قليل، أظن أنهم ذهبوا إلى المدير. أظن أنهم ذهبوا إلى المدير. رجع الطلاب ال5 بعد قليل، فقال لهم المدرس. If you continue in there, we won't say فقال لهم المدرس, rather we join the meme to the lam. So you say فقال لهم المدرس. If you continue, right? So فقال لهم المدرس إلى المدير ذهبتم يا أبنائي؟ قالوا نعم ذهبنا إليه لأننا ما وجدنا أسماءنا في القائمة. جلس المدرس وقال: أقرأتم درس الأمس يا أبنائي؟ قال الطلاب: نعم قرأناه وكتبناه وحفظناه. قال المدرس: أفهمتموه؟ قالوا نعم فهمناه جيدا. ما أسهل هذا الدرس؟ قال عبد الرحمن: أنا ما فهمت فيه 3 كلمات. قال المدرس: ما هي؟ قال عبد الرحمن قرأنا في الدرس هذه الجملة: عاد جدي من الخرطوم. فما معنى هذه الكلمات 3؟ قال المدرس: عاد معناها رجع، والجد معناها أبو الأب أو أبو الأم. والخرطوم عاصمة السودان. أفهمت؟ قال عبد الرحمن الآن فهمت. ثم فتح المدرس كتابه وقرأ درسا جديدا. خلق الله الشمس والقمر والنجوم والأرض والبحار وخلق كل شيء وخلق الإنسان من طين. ثم قام وكتب هذا الدرس على السبورة. رفع محمد يده وقال ما معنى التين يا أستاذ؟ قال المدرس التين معناه التراب المختلط بالماء. ورفع فيصل يده وقال له المدرس أعندك سؤال يا فيصل؟